Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So yeah, today we're going to talk about something that is not necessarily that common in this kind of events. We're going to talk about food and what is wasted right now in the world, and how we can introduce technology to actually help us understand why we're still wasting food and how we can solve this problem. So I'm part of this company called Winnow. I'm the managing director for Asia Pacific. Winnow is an old agricultural term that means separate the grain from the shaft. So what we try to do is separate the good from the bad. The problem today with food waste has been shown by the FAO that we are wasting 1/3 of all the food that is produced around the world. 1/3 of all the food is just never going to be eaten and is just going to be thrown away and wasted. So by seeing that, we see a clear problem, a clear opportunity to help people to understand that. So our mission is to connect the kitchen. We picked one location where there was a lot of food, which is hospitality, and all the hotels, the contract caterings, and anyone who produce from military base to mining base or anything that produce food to people and waste it. So the problem is really large. It's 4 to 12% of the revenue that is going down the garbage, which is also an impact on the numbers of all those companies. Our solutions that we developed, it's a hardware and software combined solution that will be connected through a cloud, but also through the kitchen. Talk a little bit more about the problem. So I would say 1/3 of the food in the world is wasted. That's $750 billion US. That is an opportunity to work with and to actually reduce. 66 billion of this is in the industry that we decide to focus on and to introduce our technology. So why food is wasted? Because kitchens are one of the last places that are so inefficient that don't have technology introduced. The only technology that we'll have is the new oven, the new systems like this, but the rest for all data collections and understanding of food waste is pencil and paper. So this will be eventually someone sitting next to the garbage bin and taking notes of what is being wasted every day, which is not efficient. So 20% of the food is wasted. 2/3 of this is happening before it goes into our plates. Pretty often we think that we as consumers are the biggest waster of food, but actually everything that happens behind the scene is also a mess. Solution for this. So why does it happen? It's hard to measure. As I said, only manual things are in place, nothing else. The traditional tracking methods fails. You can try to rely on humans, but there will be errors. When we introduce technology, there is more chance for it to succeed and have a control. And even if you get all this data, you have no way to analyze it. So what we introduce is also a last step to use this data to be analyzed in the future. So we worked with around 300 kitchens around the world to see where the waste was happening. And what we found out, it's mainly in overproduction. So overproduction is what we say is all this food that is prepared by our kitchen and that is never going to be served, or it's going to be in a buffet like we had today for lunch. We are all together. I'm sure lots of this food was displayed. It's impossible for us to eat it all. So if it's not controlled, most of it is going to go down the garbage and is never going to be eaten, which is again a massive problem, especially when there's so many people that are hungry in the world. And not to mention that food waste is one of the largest CO2 emissioners right now in the world, because it will release methane if it's not properly disposed. So by reducing that, we can also help the environment. Okay. So the tracking methods that I use today, it's from manual food wastage sheets, daily weighting and average audit. So basically what people do now in the kitchens, they're going to fill in buckets and weight those buckets and say we had X buckets that weigh X many kilos, which is not really relevant because it could be just trimmings and some things that are not interesting or really high product. So you don't really know what you can save and what you cannot. And the last one is the one we introduced, is a digital waste monitoring and analysis system. So that's where it got interesting and is more relevant for this event. This is where we talk about the technology involved in the system. How does it work? It's simple and intuitive. It's optimized for kitchen. There's 3 parts in the hardware. There's a tablet. There's an Android-based tablet where we develop our own systems with our own app that is running the system that is connected to a scale, an industrial scale, by Bluetooth. We develop the hardware, the Bluetooth, that will be connected to the scale and will allow the weight to be sent directly through the tablets and be recognized. And why we do that, that's our founder, why we do that is because we care about food, and we believe that food is way too valuable to be wasted and turned down the garbage. We want to be the pioneer not only in reducing food waste in the future, but to help the whole chain in the kitchen, from menu planning to ordering to storage to preparations, everything through the garbage, and really see the whole process so we can understand it by using data and plan better to waste less. That's the real idea. So this system will, a lot of people say, like, how can this data give us a value on what we're going to prepare? We know how to run efficient kitchen. So we did piloting in the UK for 2 years and over 200 sites. And this is what we accomplished. We reduced by almost every time 70% of the value of the food wasted by introducing this technology. It represents $3 million of food wasted that was saved. Help the margin, which is really interesting, because if you want to drive change, especially in sustainability, to get company involved, it's easier if you can tell them that by doing this, they will save money. It will save you in energy and labor and waste collections. All of these things are going to be helping as less waste, less work through it. And nonetheless, 700 tons of waste were saved, so which is 3,000 tons of carbon saved annually by using our system. We see that heat really works. This is, again, the same price. So the food wasted in all those locations went down consistently, and the food profit went up. So another proof that this we are not developing into around the world. So we start being present mainly in Europe and Asia Pacific. We've been in Asia Pacific for 6 months, and we already over 20 sites, and we're going to see are pretty much growing into thousands of sites in the next 2 years, helping that. So now, let me go back to our solution and how it works. Well, it's supposed to be sound, but it doesn't work. Interesting without the sound, but you get the idea what it was. back to live action. So you saw the system, as I say, is composed of three main components. So there is the scale that is connected by Bluetooth to a tablet. The way it works, you put your trash can on the scale, and every time there's a variation in weight, so I throw something, you will send a message. The screen will pop up, say, you have a variation of 1 kilo, what is it? You will key in what is the exact ingredients that is in your kitchen, linked to your cost. This information will be processed, sent to the cloud, processed by our system, and send daily different reports. So we have an analytic portal that people can go and actually go through the days, the weights, which kind of ingredients it is, when it happens, who was working at the service, so really get a real clear idea of what is wasted and at what time of the day. So throwing plastic gives you a value. By giving you the value when it pops up, it will also help raise awareness in the kitchen, because a lot of people work in the kitchen, especially in Asia, they don't necessarily know what is the value of the food that is being thrown away. And by having this, you raise awareness. People start being, wow, I didn't realize that we throw like hundreds of dollars a day into the bin, and all our work is kind of done for nothing, and it's just not right. This is a kind of a report you receive daily that we try to split between two different things. There is the value per money that you're throwing away and the total weight, because there's two different things that you want to control. You want to control also the compliance, so we have an intelligent system that will see how much of the weight that is being thrown away is actually being categorized and entered, because you want to make sure that the data that you get are actually accurate and will help drive change. By having this, a chef normally can do simple things to help drive change and reduce by 50 to 70%. So why do they use this? Why does kitchen use technology now to reduce food waste? Because it reduces, again, waste by 50% by value and increase the profits. That's the main reason. And I want to say we are a company that is on purpose for profit. And we believe that to be able to make a change in sustainability and environment and technology, you need to have an aspect that you generate revenue and you help a company not only doing the right thing, but also saving money. One of the examples I show you, we worked with a 5-star hotel in Bangkok for the past 20 weeks. And this is the waste value that happened for them within 20 weeks. It reduced by 59% the wasted value. It's a yearly saving of almost $70,000. And the ROI on the price of our software and hardware is 6 times the value in less than 20 weeks, which is pretty interesting for any company, any chefs, any large groups that wants to do the right thing. That's one of the change to most of the time we get the questions like, is it used by the people? Are they getting engaged? Is putting technology in the kitchen actually helping and people want to do it? Yes, 89% of everything that was wasted was logged in. That represented 20% drop in food waste by plate. The team are really engaged, the rewards, they want to move forward with this, and they understand the problem that we have. And also to bring a technology into a place that is not usually there, that raise the morals in the staff. The executive chef, you can see, was really happy about it, and is not someone that is used to work with kind of technologies, or we try to make it user friendly for them to use it and to understand. And last things, we can improve food quality by saving costs and by being more understanding of what it is. So this is pretty much what we do, and I kept some time to answer some of your questions on what we do, if anyone has any. If it was so clear you don't have any questions. Yeah?
chain of the causation from knowing what's being thrown, if it means into reduction of the waste.
So
the step by step.
There's a few points. Like first, when you start showing to people how much is the value of the food, that will trigger something in people, and that will make them being a little bit more careful. So just by doing this, that help you. You can also follow if you do any change. If you, for example, you have a buffet and you decide to change the size of the plates, you can track with data if this has an impact on your food waste. There's a few things you can do. Like you can change your production, change your ordering, change some products that you can see that are not being successful or working not really well. You can do an audit on some dishes that see what's coming back from the customer and really understand where's the waste coming from and where you can do some improvement to reduce that. And you, by understanding also the total weight that you have, you can find partners after to get rid of your waste and how they can transform the waste in maybe in fertilizers and other things, and work with partners to do that. Yeah?
So I see that this is a data collection intensive operation, right?
Yes.
Start to finish. So how do you motivate the hotel management to do the extra work? Because they usually profit driven. So would this be maybe covered by the corporate social responsibility?
There is a few things that come in place. Yeah, corporate, the CSR are definitely involved in this. It doesn't really add work at the end because it's very easy to use. It doesn't take much time, and by understanding, you can reduce some other part of your work. By understanding the production, you reduce the production. So actually, by using this, you save time in the kitchen. The data as they're going to be collected, they will help the hotel take some decisions into their pricing and their offers, how they can adapt this. So actually, that doesn't add work, that reduce their cost, that reduce their work, and help them understand. Because, I mean, the hospitality is a really whole industry that doesn't necessarily use data. So now they start to understand the value to it and to be able to go to the owners. Most of hotels places have owners, and they can go with data and say, look, this is real. This is
increase your profits.
And increase the profit. So that's always good to have.
Yes.
Yeah. Go for it. Ladies first.
Is any part of this open source software?
Yeah, it's open source.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where you can find it? I was looking on your website, I couldn't find that link to it. Repository or thing, is there?
There's a few, but I'm not doing the development, so I'm not going to say anything. So, but I give you my credit, and I give you the answer for sure. We have a few. We developed our own data analysis for a few things because it's important to have security and protections of the data of our clients. So we don't want to use only open source. So there is a mix of that.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Is this only going to be beneficial for a restaurant that running sort of a buffet mode kind of thing, or is it there's advantage on those restaurants that run a la carte kind of ordering?
That's a great question. We decided to start with those large buffet with large productions, and we can use our full kit. But now we're developing a version that is being tested right now called Lite, and Lite is just a tablet. It's a Google app that can be used, and you can use with any scale and just enter manually and follow this. So for small restaurants, with a la carte restaurants, you have a solution that will be cheaper. You still have a software fee, but you can adapt to any kind of restaurant. So we want to have an offer that will cover every range.
I'm not talking about the cost of the software. I'm just talking about how useful it is for the a la carte restaurant. Because I mean, when you make things in the buffet, you need to predict how much you need to make. Mm-hmm. But a la carte is that your consumer basically put an order to you, right? So I just wonder, I mean, how you.
So there's a few points. There is you can control everything that goes into spoilage and damage. That's happening before. All the trimmings, how much trimmings you have. It could be adapt. And the last thing is to do an audit on what's coming back from the customer, so you can adapt your portions. And also create awareness to the consumer and tell them, this is how much you wasted last year. Please be careful and stop eating so much, or stop not eating so much and taking so much. All right? I think it's my time.
I think that's excellent. Just right in time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. If you have any follow-up questions, we'll